Chip Thomas moved to the Navajo Nation between Monument Valley and the Grand Canyon to work as a physician in 1987 as part of a student loan payback program for the public service in underserved regions of the country. There he began photographing the Navajo people, or the Diné, in a traditional photojournalist style, using black and white film and developing the work in his home darkroom. In 2009, Thomas adopted the pseudonym Jet Sonorama and began combining photography and traditions of street art, placing work on billboards and abandoned structures in the region to celebrate the rich cultural history of his adopted community. At the heart of Thomas's practice, both medical and artistic, is a notion of care for oneself, the environment, and the cultures that sustain us. Thomas has said, quote, "When I see patients in the clinic, my objective was to help them find a state of wellness, and then the effort was to create a larger environment of wellness for the community." End quote. As you view the works in the exhibition, think about how Thomas portrays the concerns of the community in which he lives and works. In 2012, Thomas developed the Painted Desert Project, a residency program in which he has invited street artists from around the world to explore and execute work in the desert landscape. More than 25 artists have participated over the past decade, enlivening the region's public spaces with various distinct styles. Works placed in the desert are understood to be ephemeral, as they are vulnerable to weather, vandalism, or retagging by other artists. This is embraced as an essential aspect of both public art and Indigenous attitudes towards humankind's relationship to time and nature. This installation, a collaboration between Chip Thomas and Ken Ogawa, addresses the impact of uranium mining. Uranium mining was an important source of income on the reservation. Diné miners worked over 500 mines on the reservation from the 1940s until uranium prices dropped in the mid-1980s. During those years, more than 5 million pounds of yellowcake was mined, which in the process released heavy metals, radon gas, and low-level radiation from the rock. By 1950, the Public Health Service knew radiation levels at the mines exceeded levels considered safe, but did nothing for years. Even after an important study was published in 1952, which showed that radiation levels in the mines were unsafe, safety recommendations were ignored by public safety officials and the Navajo themselves, who needed the income. It wasn't until 1967 that the Secretary of Labor issued a regulation declaring that, quote, "no uranium miner could be exposed to radon levels that would induce a higher risk of cancer than that faced by the general population," end quote. By this time, it was too late. In the 15 years after the uranium boom, cancer rate among the Navajo doubled. This was a period in which the overall U.S. cancer rate declined. From the beginning of his time on the reservation, Thomas has maintained that he does not speak on behalf of the Diné or others. But over time, trust has been established, and he has been asked to apply his artistic sensibility to various causes, such as water rights, uranium mining, poverty, immigration, social justice, and environmental efforts. In 2015, Thomas joined the protest of the Arizona Snowball Resort, a ski resort north of Flagstaff. The resort had been contentious since it was built in the 1930s, seen by numerous indigenous nations as a desecration of a sacred site. The more recent practice of creating artificial snow using treated sewage wastewater only added to the controversy. For one action, protesters' faces were painted with their own words, such as this one, quote, "I am the change, industrialization, pollution, drought, water, air, earth, fake snow," end quote. Thomas photographed the painted faces, and these have become the source images for various site interventions. What category of photography would you consider the pictures in this gallery? Documentary, fine art, personal? How are these images different or similar to those of your own family, friends, and community?